Hi everybody, my name is Susana Passinhas. I'm a UX design educator, mentor and coach. I have worked as a designer for 16 years, and in the past years I started to teach and mentor students from all over the world, and I noticed that there are a lot of common questions and doubts about specific topics. So I decided to create a series of videos covering those questions and needs in the hopes of you build a strong foundation into the core ideas, concepts, and principles of design.
Hi everybody, welcome. Today we'll be talking about affinity mapping or affinity diagram or affinity map. All of these means the same thing. So what is an affinity mapping? This is how I like to call it. An affinity mapping, it's for you or is used for you to make sense of all the research data you gather so far. As you know, you always started by collecting data through surveys, user interviews, usability testing, or observations that you do, desk research, okay? So once you collect all of these data, you end up having a lot of things to go through. For you to find meaning in all your findings, we use an affinity map. Okay, so for today, I added some notes here that are, well, I generated them from ChatGPT, but you shouldn't do that, please. They should be your observations, okay, on a user interview or your observations of your survey results, your desk research, okay? How to do your notes? Well, your notes need to be observations, okay, of what you are seeing or listening, okay, and you should use one idea per post-it. This is super important. So if a user says, I like green and orange, you would have two post-its, one saying that the user likes green and the other saying that the user likes orange. Why? Because you want to move around your post-its and you want to cluster them to discover patterns, okay, to understand what is going on, which things have affinity, okay? So this is very important. Now, another misconception that I also notice people having is that we only do affinity mapping for user interviews or usability testing or both. No, okay? Affinity mapping incorporates all the research you've done so far, okay? So you might wonder, how do I do notes of my survey? Well, in your survey, each question you did, you learned something. Those will be your notes, okay? 30% of the users, this and that. 57% of the users, this and that, okay? So the first thing you need to do is to gather all your research, go through it, and write down your observations. Again, one idea per post-it. Now, in here, I have 5. Let's say this was a usability testing of a user using an app or a website, okay? These are just random, is for us to understand a little bit how to organize and how to go through this, okay? Very important, it's always to have clear the source of your post-its, okay? You will want to understand how many post-its you have around a specific topic, because that might help you prioritize the things you need to solve or to tackle, okay? Having one user saying that they don't like something versus having 4 users does make the difference, okay? So what you should always have is a legend, okay? So in here, I used a color per user, and we are just working with usability testing interviews, okay? But you can also have, let's just add it here. I think you understand. So blue, we would say it's user 2. You don't need to have names of people, okay? You can have, but you don't need it, okay? This is user 3. That is yellow, for example. And this is user 4. That is gonna be the green, and then we have the pink last, I think. Yeah. User 5. Okay, if you also collected your notes from user surveys, for example, you could have that in a different color and just say survey. Okay, if you have desk research, you give it a different color and you say desk research. Okay, this is important. Why? Because it might be, first of all, you want to understand where is this coming from if you need for some reason to track back. Okay, and also to understand, is this just one user saying or multiple users? Do I have multiple sources touching this topic, or is the same person talking about it a couple of times? Okay, you don't want your research to be biased, so this is important. Okay, for now we are just working with the usability test one, but again, know that all the research you did should be compiled here in the affinity mapping. Okay, now, for us, let's just work with this. So, another thing that you could do to help you is to provide some labels, okay? So, if you have an observation that should provide context, okay? You shouldn't write a note just saying user doesn't like it. For example, this doesn't give enough context. What is it that you are talking about, right? So, give enough context so that the notes can be understood by itself, okay? In here, for example, user struggles to locate the search bar on the home page. We know what is happening and what is happening, and tries clicking several unrelated buttons. Okay, so the user is confused, yeah? So in here, if you want to label your post-its already like pain points, mental models, behaviors, opportunities, okay, you can create your own labels to help you organize your content better. Okay, how could you do that? Well, we can just go here and draw a square. Okay, and just let's write here behavior, this one. You can have more than one as well. Okay, that's no problem at all. Okay, let's have this one here. So I'm going to say this one talks about behavior, okay? But it's also a pain point. He struggles to locate the search bar on the home page and tries clicking several unrelated buttons, okay? So maybe it's two. It's also pain points, okay? And maybe we can give different colors to it to understand a little bit. This is already small. Okay, so you could do this and give labels to your to all of your post-its to help you later on. Okay, so here's the idea for you. Okay, another important thing in observations is to have quotes. Okay, quotes will always be perceived. How can I say? It persuades people more regarding to what happened. Okay, it's very important to use it for presentations. If you do a customer journey, user journey after this, also very important, okay? It makes a stronger point, okay? A lot of our work is actually to persuade, okay? And to bring in your users, your users' needs and your users' frustrations and pain points. I mean, you are the ambassador of users. Okay, so this is very important, so don't forget always to have quotes. Okay, give enough context, describe it if possible, label it. This is not mandatory. Okay, it's just to help you a little bit navigating all of these things that you have here. Okay, for now I'm going to remove it. Just wanted to show you that. Okay, so what you should do, first thing is to write down your observations with enough context, okay? Don't forget the quotes. If possible, it will help you to create some labels. Now, how is this done? The affinity mapping. Old school way. The old school way, well, you just copy paste all of these. Okay, so I would always recommend you to copy paste because you might by accident change something, yeah? And you go here. User struggles to locate the search bar on the home page and tries checking several unrelated buttons. So for me, this is about the search bar. Yeah, so maybe I'm just going to create a section for this one. And this is about the search bar. So this is just a big topic, okay? And if I find more things about the search bar, I would add them all together, okay? This is how it goes, yeah? So user mentions, I wish there was a way to save my progress without completing the task. Progress, okay. Let me create another section that is about progress, yeah? All right, let me go to the second one. Mobile version has text cut off, making it hard to read product descriptions. Oh, well, in here, maybe I'm just gonna say cut off text, okay? These can change as you go and depending on the post-its you find. Cut off text. Very well. User says I always use this app in the evenings when I have more free time. So he's talking about when they use the app, okay? When the app is used, okay? This is how we would go with all of them, okay, with all the post-its. So let's see if we find here something that is regarding to the same. This one, it's actually repeated. Attempts to use voice commands. I wish there was a tutorial for using this feature. Struggles to find how to edit profiles. Okay. Okay, this one looks for a way to save progress but doesn't find it. We saw this here before, no? Progress. Yeah? Okay, so we have two users mentioning this topic already. Good. Okay, so this is part of this group. Amazing. Let's see if we find something else. Scrolls up, looking for filters. Filters, okay. All right. Okay. This one doesn't speak about it. Okay. We show it to show my favorite. So it's fine. So it's a product. Yeah. Okay. I see some post-its here. For example, talking about memorizing. Okay. Okay, if only this app remembers my preferences for this is talking about the same topic. Okay, for example, let's see if we have here. Okay. All right. Okay, let's put this into a group because they are talking about the same thing. Okay, so this is about need or saving preferences. Okay, for example, yeah. So we have two users mention that. Yeah, saving preferences. So inside the group that is talking about preferences, you can have contradictory things. You can have a user saying that some things are good and some things are bad. Okay, so maybe, for example, you can have a user saying that they like something and three users say they didn't like it. Okay, and this could also all be inside the same topic. What we do is to, when we have things like this, is to subdivide. So inside the topic, we have, this is about preferences, like this is clear, okay, preferences, yeah, and this here is like is a good thing. So maybe this is a group here inside that says that reminders are helpful, for example, right? And this here says that, well, it doesn't remember the preferences the user chose. Okay, so you can create another subgroup. App doesn't remember users' preferences. Okay, I always recommend you to write sentences when you do subgrouping. So the first grouping, use big topics, okay, because you will probably have a lot of post-its. When you go inside this group and try to find other groups, yeah, the subgroups, write a title because this will help you understand what is going on without you having to go through all the post-its. Now we just have 2 because this is just an example for you, but you might have 20 post-its, okay? So try in the title to summarize what are those post-its talking about, okay? It will also make it very clear for you to understand what is important for you to pick up, depending on the number of post-its, for example, okay? And if you need to write a report, that many times we do, is gonna make your life so much easier, okay? Or even for collaborating with others, share the file, explain things, okay? So, this is the general way that the affinity mapping can go, okay? So you go post it one by one, add it to a big topic, okay? When you find things that are talking about the same thing, you add them here. It's also okay to change the name of the topic as you go, if it feels like it's something bigger. And once you do this first step, you go in subdivide it and name it with a sentence that explains what is going on inside, okay? I'm not going to do the entire affinity mapping. I think this was helpful for you to understand. Now, I want you to take a look into something else here. In Figma and probably in Miro as well, you can use a feature. Yeah, if you go here to organize, there's a feature, sort stickies by, okay? This will sort your stickies by topic, okay? And this will basically, well, you can also sort by other things, but we want topic. See here, it's beta, so it's not perfect. You still need to check it, but it can help you move faster, okay? So let's use it. It's gonna learn what is inside each post-it and organize it. You see this? Perfect, amazing, okay? We have here already some work done, yeah? And you see how helpful it is to have the colors because now you know the source, right? So this group here is about feature requests and suggestions, user experience feedback, confusion and uncertainty. Okay, we saw some post-its like this, navigation and interface issues. Okay, this seems okay. Now, what I would do here was to go inside and do a subgrouping. Okay, this will help you understand a little bit better what is going on. For example, the dark mode option is nice. I would use it all the time. The icons don't make sense. Video tutorial isn't helpful. I like to use this app more, but it feels confusing. The color contrast makes it hard to read. Okay. This is regarding color, for example, and the mode here. There's too much white space. It feels like it's a waste of screen. Okay. All right. Mobile version has text cut off. There's not much information on the checkout page. This is overwhelming. So this is related with content, for example. Yeah, mobile version. Yeah, this is related issues with content. These two. Okay. This is regards icons. Okay. This is regard the video. This in general, it feels confusing. Okay. In here, there's too much white space. It feels like wasted screen real estate. Okay, maybe this has to do also with graphic elements, for example. Yeah, so you could organize it like this. Okay, so this group would be about contrast and maybe consider dark mode. Okay, this here is a general, it feels confusing. Okay, the video tutorial isn't helpful. That's something as well. There's something going on here with the text and with some graphic elements. Okay, so visual. Yeah, so you could divide it like this, and this would be helpful. Yes, and all of these are user experience feedback. That is okay. Yeah, it could also be, if you do it yourself, that you organize it differently. So for example, maybe you wouldn't add these to user experience feedback, you would add these to video tutorial, because maybe there are more post-its talking about this. Okay, not necessarily regarding the user experience feedback, if you know what I mean. Okay, so either way, you would get probably to the same learnings. Okay, I just want you to understand that you can also do this, but you have to double check, okay, to see if it makes sense, this grouping. Yeah. Now, another thing that you could do here in Figma, it's a summary, okay? This check is also in beta, okay? So you also need to double check. Now, I don't really like this feature because it puts everything at the same level. So if there's just one user mentioning one problem, it's gonna list it. It's gonna list it as a problem at the same level that the other four users talk about another thing. If you know what I mean, okay? So for me, this might be a bit tricky. I don't recommend you to use this one, okay? Because again, it puts everything at the same level. So even if just one user says a positive thing and four says a negative one, it's gonna still say that positive feedback. You know what I mean? So it doesn't allow you to understand what is really important for you to focus on, okay? Again, in affinity mapping, you should focus on what emerged the most, okay? One user saying one thing is usually irrelevant, okay? So be careful with AI, everything is still on beta, okay? It could help you. I think this first grouping could be really helpful, but go through it, okay? It's also very normal to do it one by one. It's gonna be, you will be more in depth into the understanding of it, okay? But it will consume more time, of course. Make sure all your notes are well written. If you use a software, then you'll have these notes generated automatically for you. You can use plugins to add them into your post-its in FigJam. So there's a bunch of things that can speed up a little bit your process. Nevertheless, your human brain is very important because it's what can find the affinity and make sense of things, okay? So use AI carefully, double check things. You here now understood how to do this in two ways, okay? By hand or using um, the AI help here in FigJam, okay? The main thing is at the end you'll want to learn what is going on, okay? What is emerging the most and what is causing to the user, okay? That's the whole purpose of affinity mapping, okay? It's to find meaning, okay? That's it. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any doubts or something is not clear, also feel free to comment, okay, on the video. Share with your friends that are into design as well. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.
Thank you for watching. I hope this video helped you clarify a little bit your doubts about this topic. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Instagram at UXUI with Susana Passinhas. Feel free to connect with me on LinkedIn as well. It's Susana Passinhas. You can check my services. I have mentorships and programs specially tailored for junior designers, okay? At www.susanapassinhas.com. I'll leave all the information below. Thank you. Bye.